Hello and welcome to your Deadline Day show. Well, it's half a Deadline Day. International Deadline Day show. Premier League Deadline Day show. After today we can buy players from the Championship and below for another couple of weeks. But tonight at 11 PM the big thing goes.
Big what?
I'm not sure yet. Something happens at 9 o'clock. Is Big Ben still bonging or is it getting worked on? Is it still getting worked on?
I couldn't say. I've not seen it for probably nigh on a year, but it was definitely not bonging then. It was definitely had scaffolding all over it. I'll do a bong.
Yeah, 11 PM. I'll get you on to do the bong.
Thank you.
The window slams shut. Always slams shut at 11 PM. No one closes it nicely, despite it being 11 o'clock. No considerations for neighbours. Nothing. Slam.
Like my kids, they don't use the handle when they shut a door.
Whack. Get that thing slammed shut. Anyway, we're here to give you the latest for now, and then I'll be back at 9 o'clock live with guests for the last 2 hours of the deadline. Probably no deals, but we're going to talk about something anyway. But Gonzo, how you feeling? We like Deadline Day, don't we? We get a little bit excited, but it just every Deadline Day since we first started the channel gets less and less exciting, doesn't it?
It's got progressively worse. You're right. I hadn't actually thought of that. Yeah, it used to be really exciting.
Alex Song.
Absolutely. I couldn't even bother to put my yellow pants on. I'm not wearing any trousers at all. I don't want any pants at the moment. So I'm not excited. Fortunately, I'm not excited. Obviously, otherwise it would be an embarrassing video, really, wouldn't it? No, I mean, I think the extension for the championship deals sort of lessens the excitement somewhat because I tell you what also does. It lessens the outrage, right? Because if we have not made a signing by the bong at 11 o'clock tonight, then we can't go into full Sullivan attack mode because actually we may well be buying somebody from the championship depending on your own point of view. That could be a good or a bad thing. I guess if it's Rodden, it's a good thing. If it's Dawson, it's a bad thing. But I would have expected to hear something by now, and I'm not, when I say something, I don't mean the links that we've heard for the last 3 or 4 days. I would expect to, I don't know, Sean Dyche has put James Tarkowski in a Tesco trolley and he's currently pushing him down the M1, trying to get to Chadwell or something like that. But I've not heard nothing.
Right, we're going to give you the latest there. First of all, thanks to Doug. Doug's chucked a $5 into live chat and he says, I've now spent more than Gold, Sullivan and Brady on Deadline Day. Hashtag Doug in. Yes, Doug. Hashtag Doug.
Doug, yeah, I'm a nifty player, Doug. You got your sort of good player there.
And Jack Mate has put in £2 as well. Thank you, Jack, for your £2 as well. We've got £7. We've now got a kitty going here. We're going to sign someone. I think we need to call it 3 Hammers and see if we can sign Luke. Maybe get him on a loan or something.
He was very excited in his video after the win.
Yeah, his thumbnail was very good. It drew me in. I saw his thumbnail and I thought I'm going to have a watch of this. Bless him. But anyway, you ready for the latest? This is the latest as it stands regarding West Ham. Jonathan Tah, who was the #1 transfer target, it's not happening. And I tell you the truth that this is genuinely in the no news. If you want, we wanted him on a loan with an option to buy, and they said no, he's 30 million. And we went, oh, you want money? You want cash for your centre back?
Pesky, they got some cheap by Leverkusen asking for money.
But they know what I'd be more surprised at? If Leverkusen didn't turn around and go, after what you've done to our neighbours over at Frankfurt, there ain't no chance we are dealing with you. Piss off. But there we go. Jonathan Tah, not happening. He would have been a good centre back. I'd have liked to have seen him at West Ham. I did the video sort of last night that said he's someone that I feel had a massive reputation a few years ago. He's going to be the world's best centre-back. I don't think he's quite hit that, but he's still a really good player with a lot of potential. I would have liked to have seen him here, but anyway, we move on. And Hinteregger, I think that's his name, Hinteregger, the Frankfurt centre-back, the really tall guy. He's got a big nose. How do you pronounce his name?
I don't know. I don't even know.
Hinteregger. I don't know. He's a giant. He's about 8 foot. He's got a really big nose.
Wow.
And,
well, I want him. He sounds great. A big-nosed 8-foot giant. Why would you not want him playing for your team?
I'll tell you why we can't get him. As part of the negotiations, apparently.
He's too tall. He literally can't fit on the bed to have his medical. You know when they sit on the bed and they got all the things all over them? They can't find a mask big enough for the fella.
Apparently when we were negotiating with him a couple of weeks ago or whatever, we were sounding them out. I think the part of our thing was if you do business with us, we will give you the Allaire money that we owe you. Now we haven't paid you yet.
I like that. I might try that in Tesco when I've got two.
Just run out the door.
2 shopping trolleys, and okay, I'll pay for the first shopping trolley if you give me the second one that's full of food.
And if you don't, I'm just going to take it anyway and not pay you.
We will, because we're West Ham. We do what we
Yeah. Felipe Anderson, this is the big news. Felipe Anderson could be on his way out of West Ham, heavily linked to a loan move to Porto. It's been sort of confirmed by the in-knows that we are trying to shift Felipe Anderson on a loan, get his wages covered for the rest of the season. But Porto don't have too much money. They signed Tony Martinez yesterday, Gonzo. Did you know that? Our old youngster.
No. They're about to sell Alex Telles, isn't they?
He's off to Manchester.
Money. I know for a fact they got some money.
He's off to Manchester now, but I think Man United are trying to get him on loan as well, which is, I think that's causing the problems really. But they want Felipe Anderson on loan. West Ham are trying to get him off the wage bill for the end of the season, ideally on a permanent, but I think we've accepted no one's paying money for him, so just try and get him off the wage bill for the rest of the season. It's understandable, I guess, really. It's just a bit, how far has he fallen though? He cost us 40 million 3 years ago, and we're basically paying someone to take him away for a year.
Yeah, I mean, well, without going over old ground, it shows a lack of a cohesive transfer strategy from us. It shows the lack of a consistent director of football who then employs the manager. So you'd like to think that when you spend £40 million on a player, that manager then leaves, and then the next manager that comes in is a similar style manager and can work with those players within that style. So very little changes. You also have to wonder about the due diligence and. I mean, when we got him, we got him from Lazio, didn't we? That's right. It was Lazio. He was 40-odd million quid. You'd like to think 40 million quid, you're getting one of Lazio's best players. That didn't seem to be the case. We weren't even getting one of their best players, which, I mean, is brilliant, isn't it, as far as they're concerned? Imagine us being able to sell, I don't know, Ryan Fredericks for 40 million quid or something like that. It'd be absolutely magnificent. So we've had our pants pulled down with that a bit. I guess the only upside of getting him out on loan is maybe it gives him a chance to display his talents again, get some goals, get some assists. We'll never see all that money back. We really won't. But if he can get to a level of consistency, a level of performance on loan for Porto, maybe we can convince someone to come and give us tuppence for but like 20 million or something like that. Maybe we'll chuck in our £7 from Ray and Jack. Doug and Jack.
Yeah, I just the problem we've got though is even if he does go on loan, let's just say Porto say, yeah, we'll pay his whole £100,000 a week, blah blah blah. Let's say that happens, because I think that's what is now the ideal situation for West Ham. That's how good it's going to get. Is they give me? I'm not even sure they'll give us a loan fee. They will just pay his wages for the season. That's it. We're going to run into problems because tomorrow we now know we can buy from the Championship. There is one really good Championship player left, Saeed Benrahma. The problem is his price has now gone up because every other club will be looking at it thinking, oh, we could do with an attacking player. He's the only, well, he's not the only one, but that's the one guy everyone's going to want. But we're going to get told, yeah, but Felipe Anderson might have left, but we didn't get any money for him, so we can't afford the transfer fee. We can afford his wages, but we can't afford him. And this is the problem, really. I think it's a bit. There was a rumour earlier that if Anderson does go, we could now move for Benrahma. I'm not convinced by that because he's 25 million or something, and I just can't see us. I just can't see it, Gonzo, unless we end up with a really cheap centre back, and then the centre back money then goes on Benrahma. But I'm not convinced that that's going to happen. So Felipe Anderson could be going to Porto. We'll wait and see. The other rumour is Jack Wilshere could be on his way out. The club are looking to pay him off, essentially, Gonzo, tonight for whatever reason. I think it seems to be that they're trying to get rid of him tonight before the deadline. I don't understand why we're so quick.
What's the urgency? Yeah, what was the urgency between now and next week or whatever?
Perhaps it's the money saved. If he's due to get 4 million next year, if he takes 2 million, then we now know we've got 2 million freed up, haven't we? Yeah,
but if you're not going to just wake up today and decide to do it. If we're talking about millions of pounds worth of negotiations, they'd have been talking for the past 2 or 3 weeks, or at least you'd like to think anybody with any competency would have done anyway. They're going to know that they've got that leeway there, that buffer zone. We've saved a lot on wages. We know this over the last 2 years. you would know if you're in a negotiation with somebody whether you're close to a deal. So if what they're haggling over, if you know it's somewhere between 4 million and 2 million, you'd like to think they've narrowed it down and they're near an amount, and then it's just 100,000 either side or something like that. I don't know why that would make them stall on other things. And quite frankly, I don't want to hear about why they can't bring in Benrahma or this, that, and the other. In fact, I don't really want to hear anything from them at all, because every time they speak, quite frankly, it's embarrassing. I find we sold Diangana on the premise that we didn't have any money, so it was going to free up some money to bring people in. The embarrassment if we don't bring people in is ridiculous, and actually we've lost a player who we would have quite liked to have kept and actually brought nobody in. That's quite ridiculous. If it looks as if Cullen, who I thought was having his best pre-season for a little while, and in the first cup game he played, arguably was the best player on the pitch. If not, he was in the top three, certainly. And then we go and let him go for pennies. And Gakir, I do have a bit of sympathy because I think he really wanted to go. He was pushing it. But I think, had we put our arms around both Cullen and Diangana, they stay anyway. If we get rid of them and actually no one comes in, I don't want to hear any excuses from anyone because we all know what's gone on. So yeah, I just want to see the deals pushed over the line really, and them to get a player. But I'd like to hear more at the moment. I want to hear more that we're close to signing someone, which I'm not hearing. I'm hearing why we're not signing anyone. Lots of excuses.
Yeah, Josh Cullen was really unfortunate because he was due to play the second League Cup game and then obviously got tested positive, got withdrawn. He would have probably then played the Everton game as well, and that would have given him an extra 180 minutes to prove to Moyes what he could do. And I feel like he's just had his trial, if you like, at West Ham taken away from him due to coronavirus. So I feel a bit sorry for the lad. That's in case you don't know, Josh Cullen is on the verge of completing a move to Anderlecht for around about £800,000, just under £1 million. But we are supposedly got two clauses in there. One, we've got a sell-on clause, so should he then leave Anderlecht, we get a percentage of that money, and also we get a guarantee that should, let's say, Club Brugge bid £5 million for Josh Cullen in a year's time, if we match it, it automatically gets accepted. We can then match whatever gets accepted as well. It's disappointing to see him go as well. I worry, Gonzo. I really worry about selling Cullen because there's 4 players I think that if we were to get a long-term injury to, I'd panic. I'll get onto that in a different video though. Let's try and keep this transfer stuff. Mateus Zaraco. Who's that? I do not know. It's a South American striker. There was always going to be a South American striker linked to West Ham United. That's the man, Mateus Zaccararo. You can go and have a little look. Musa Nkate, who plays for Mainz over in Germany, a centre-back for around about 15 million euros, is also being linked to us. And then the Manchester City youngster centre-back does not want to move to West Ham. He's not coming to West Ham. Tosin Adarabioyo.
There's only that sort of thing. Yeah. All right, I know we're all disappointed that he doesn't want to join. He's massive. He's 6'6",
and he's good with the ball at his feet, I believe. He's supposed to be a really good ball player centre back, as you'd expect from Manchester City. I would have minded a gamble on him. He was touted at 8 million, but it's not happening. We're not moving for him, and I don't think he's too keen on coming to West Ham, which is a shame because it means he's just going to stay at Man City and not play any football. He might end up moving to somewhere in the Championship or that on loan again. He was at Blackburn last season. So Chelsea's Rudiger turned down West Ham, doesn't want to come to West Ham. Lots of players turning down West Ham, to be honest with you. Thank you for Sheezy for his £2. Just laughing, saying there was no chance of us getting that Frankfurt centre back.
No, that is ridiculous. Thank you, Fred.
But that leaves us with 2 players to discuss, really, and that's 2 players in the Championship. Is there anything you'd like to add before we talk about those 2?
All I would add is that when I heard this morning that we were back in Tarkowski, and look, I did my video this morning, and somebody left a comment on it talking about how James Tarkowski got tore a new one for Burnley in their game at the weekend. I understand that, but I do think there's a solidity within our system. I don't think we're playing. I don't know what's happening to everyone's defences at the moment, but ours seems to be good. I just sort of hoped that our last 3 performances and our last 2 results, I'm talking about league games here, might have made any potential signings look at West Ham in a slightly different light. Because actually all the disarray with the club and the ownership and things like this, they tend to dissipate away if you are a player and you know you're going to get your wages. Basically, if you're being offered, if you're a defender, you're being offered double your wages, and then you look at West Ham, it may well be that actually West Ham might be slightly more appealing after the end of last season and the start of this one than Burnley is. And actually, if you're a defender, you might. We like to say old players don't want to play for Moyes. Well, maybe if you are a centre back, you might look at that and think, actually, I wouldn't mind playing in that system because I've got lots of protection, lots of cover. So I was sort of hoping. I'm not bothered whether Tarkowski comes or he doesn't. My only interest is that he's Moyes' number one signing. And you've always said this for years and years, Gio. You know, go and support the manager. I don't necessarily. I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure I'd spend 30 million on defender at the moment. But if that's what Moyes thinks, then give him what he wants. So I was rather hoping that might change the perception of the club. Whereas I think 2 weeks ago, I almost thought we're signing nobody. I think now you might look at West Ham and thinking, actually, they ain't too bad. They've got some good players. So I don't know if that might change the attitude of some.
Yeah, the live chat, and God, as I mentioned it, that is my washing machine. I can confirm. I forgot to shut the kitchen door. But you know, they can hear it. They can hear it through. It's a different mic. You've got this mic, haven't you, Gonzo?
Oh yeah, I can hear you there.
The show gets the mic on the desk, but yeah, that's my washing machine. I was away for the weekend, so I've got a lot of washing. I threw it in. I got in from work, threw it in, jumped on here, and forgot to shut the door. So you're just gonna have to put up with the racket in the background. Thanks.
Haven't you put your red thong in with your white shirt?
No, it's the leopard print one that's in tonight.
Good.
Yeah, I'm ahead of the game. I know it's that.
It's been washed plenty of times, that one, mate. There's no dye left.
I am better at washing my kinky lingerie than I am at pronouncing these players that we're linked with. That's for sure. I know what I'm doing when it comes to the washing machine. But I agree with Tarkowski. I think he's a really good centre back, but I don't think he's worth us spending £30 million on. But that's who David Moyes wants, and I think that's who we should have went and got. Because now David Moyes is either going to be. He's, I don't know, what, 10th on his short list or something. He's quite far down his wish list, or he's waiting to get a centre back who he doesn't particularly want. And it's not a good thing, because we've seen Felipe Anderson is the perfect case in points, as is Jack Wilshere. We've seen this, that if Moyes don't like him, Moyes won't play him, and I can understand that. So if Sullivan's now going to go pick the centre back and Moyes don't want him, he's going to be on the bench at best. We've already got 4 centre backs now, because Creswell's now a centre back in this new formation. So we've got 4 centre backs now, because I think Moyes probably trusts Balbuena a hell of a lot more than he did 3 weeks ago. So Moyes is looking at this and going, hang on, I've got Diop, Balbuena, Ogbon and Creswell who kept 2 clean sheets against Leicester and Wolves. You go get me someone I don't know, I don't want. He's 5th choice centre back. And when are you going to play him? Because you can't even play him in the Carabao Cup to test him, because we're out of it. So I think it's a bit risky from Sullivan, actually, if he's assuming he's not going to go get someone that David Moyes has picked. But I think he's backed Moyes into a corner now, that this deadline's going to be over and done with. Now we're in the Championship, and he's going to say to Moyes, now you can have your pick. Who do you want? Because they're all affordable. Which one? Joe Rodon's probably the most expensive centre back in that league, 20 million. We can afford that. We know that. So Sullivan's now giving him a pool of players to choose from that he knows he can go and get. Whereas before it was pick anyone in the world of football, and then it's Tarkowski, well, not him because can't afford him. Well, I'll have that one. Can't afford him either. Pick another one. Well, Rudiger doesn't want to come. Pick another one. So on. Now we're into Championship only. I assume they would all want to come to West Ham, and I assume we could afford them all. Sullivan's got no excuses now, but Moyes' pool of players is very, very small. James Gunn's been a bit naughty. He's put £2 in and says, thoughts on Hertha centre-back Jordan something. I don't know how you... Stop winding me up. I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm going to try.
I haven't got the chat up. I want to... Let me try and get the chat up.
Yeah.
What's that channel called again?
It's...
Let's see. I want to see what James has said. I want to try and pronounce it, James. I'll tell you that. Has anyone seen the thumbnail? Has anyone noticed on the thumbnail that I'm a bit smaller than Geo? Has anybody noticed
the thumbnail
that?
back up. That's the thumbnail back on your screen for you. That's the thumbnail there. It's Jordan Torungariga. I don't know. I can't.
Hold on. I'm gonna have a look.
I get nervous when there's loads of consonants in a surname.
I can't. Oh, you see, I can't see the super chat. Only you can. You see. No, I can't see it, James. I do apologise.
Oh, convenient, right? Mm-hmm.
I can't.
I'll tell you what. Just repeat the name in the live chat, James, and Gonzo will see it at the bottom for you.
Oh, hold on, maybe I can. Oh, I can see Jade Lamb as is that an avocado? think Jade Lamb sent a £5 and a dancing avocado, which is exactly the sort of thing you want to see. Unfortunately, I've now clicked on the avocado. And
Thanks to James for the £5. So for the dancing avocado, I mean, it's the funnest bit.
I don't like avocados, by the way. No, I can't see. I cannot see this. I cannot see this name. I'm sorry. Anyway, hold on. I've got it. Jordan. Jordan, hold on. Jordan Tarunariga.
Oh, well, there you go. You're better at it than I am, anyway. There you go.
How's that? I'm going to shut down the chat.
Tom's just confirming you're smaller on the thumbnail because you're actually 4'11". So.
Well, I don't have to be on the thumbnail, do I? That's what I'm saying. Tom did the thumbnail. I'm watching that, Tom. I'll tell you what.
See this? Can you now see this show, Gonzo? If you have a look, I actually make you a little bit taller than me on these shows. I actually go for the optical illusion.
What about now?
Yeah, you definitely look a bit taller now.
Right, anyway, where were we? You were going to talk about
Craig Dawson and Ryan Manning are the two players we're being linked with. Should that we be forced into selecting from the Championship over the next 2 weeks? I'd rather not buy Craig Dawson, in all honesty. He's slow. He's an alright centre-back, but he's good at he's threatening at set pieces. But I don't see what we would benefit from it. We'd spend a few £1 million on a centre-back we don't particularly want. His price is only going to increase as of tomorrow morning because now everybody's desperate. If there's a Premier League club looking at a Championship player, those Championship clubs can name their price essentially because there's not that many good enough for the Premier League. How many players in the Championship do you think are good enough for the Premier League? 40? Every position.
Yeah, possibly.
And then as soon as you
most of them are probably at Norwich, to be fair as well.
Start filtering down the positions. How many left backs are good enough for the Premier League? 3? 2? Rico Henry? You maybe right. Rico Henry's the only one that would be.
Yeah.
There's maybe another 2 you could gamble on, right? So Brentford can now name their price. You want a left back. This is the only one you can get now. You've got 2 weeks, and this is the only one you can get. He's double what he was 2 weeks ago.
Brentford run their club so well. So well.
So we've got.
Sorry, I don't want Dawson either.
No, Dawson. I mean, do you think he's gonna? Do you think we'll get Craig Dawson? Seems inevitable.
It depressingly does, but I have to try and almost ignore my West Ham pessimism because we are pessimists because we've had it hard over the years, and you expect the worst to happen. So I'm trying not to. I'm trying to play the ball and not the man. You know what I mean? So I'll react to the signing when we do it or when we don't do it. I desperately want Rodden. I desperately don't want Dawson. I think they are two very... Well, look, they're different players, but I think they're two very different ethoses. Okay? As I said before, you're going to get one chance at getting this guy, right? At Rodden. You're going to get one chance at getting him. And it's going to be now. You don't get him. It's so arrogant to say, oh, we'll have a look at 18 months. No, you won't. Because another Premier League club are going to grab him now.
And if they don't, if every Premier League clubs wait for 18 months and he's proven to be ready, clubs with more money and more pool will go get him.
Yeah. Well, this is exactly it. You know, whereas now, this is the time for us to say, look, you come in and you'll feature. We're in West Ham. We have to do that. That's the only advantage we have because I'm sure he will go and play at the top level because Man City were after him as well, and they bought Aki instead, which you understand. But the only advantage we have over somebody like, I don't know, let's say Chelsea are interested in him or Tottenham or somebody like that. The only advantage we've got is we can say, you know, look, we can put you in the team now, whereas Chelsea might say, look, we might bring you in, put you back on loan you back to Swansea for 6 months. As a player, you don't want that. You want to think, I want to step up into the big time. I want to go and prove myself. He's a player with promise, but he's ready now. He's already a Welsh international. It's not a 16-year-old. He's 6'5". He's faster than ever. He's the best header in the game he plays, the best tackler. Gets him in.
Yeah, and the other player we've been linked with in the Championship is KPR's left back Ryan Manning, who was a midfielder before being converted, so you'd assume we'd fit the left wing back role should we need cover for that position. The last player we're going to talk about, we're not going to talk about him though because he's a Championship player, so we can speak about this guy tomorrow and the day after and the day after. But
we will.
We'll have to, because that's where we're spending our money.
We've got 2 weeks of videos to do, for goodness sake. We're talking about everyone. Go on.
We'll be going through the championship player by player. What about this guy?
One player per
I can probably...
So, Geo, I'll be starting a video. You saw it a couple of days ago. Geo said that there were 40 players in the championship who were good enough to play for the Premier League. We're going to list down one each day.
Yeah. Number 40. At least we can pronounce some of those names. James.
There we go. There's a series. The next Hammers Chat series.
James Gunn is raking through the championship for the guy with the longest name with as much consonants as possible in that name. What about such as player? But the last player is Chris Smalling of Manchester United. Roma apparently had a €15 million bid accepted, but he's not going to Roma apparently, and that West Ham could make a move for him. Would you like Chris Smalling at West Ham?
I wouldn't say no, actually. I think he's a right player, actually. He gets a lot of stick because Man United have not done so well over the last few years. I say this about a lot of players. He's good enough to play for West Ham United. I mean, let's be fair. He was playing for England not too long ago. Why not? Why not? If it didn't cost the earth, the only problem would be the wages. I think we'd have to pay him a lot of money. But actually, I think he went over to Syria. I believe he was very good at Roma.
Yeah, he was, as well. I think he was on the verge of the England squad. Southgate sent the assistant manager, I don't know who it is, out to watch him personally.
There you go. Why not? Why not? Yeah. Wouldn't argue with that at all. Wouldn't be disappointed.
I don't like it on a short-term deal. He's 30 years old now, so he's not getting any younger. But I think if you were to manage to get him on a loan or for cheap, it depends how much money we've got to spend. I think Sullivan's almost played a blinder here. Remember he went on TalkSport and said, if you had 400 million, but we don't, we've only got 10% of that. And we all thought, you've just given away the budget. I wonder if he's pulled a blinder here and actually made us all think we've got 40 million just to shut up for the next 2 weeks, when actually he's got no intention of spending anywhere near that. But we all believed we had 40 million to spend. But I wonder if he's sitting there laughing his arse off at everyone. Why have you told everyone got 40? I think he's probably sat there laughing when you actually fell for that. Thank you very much. I made on it was a mistake, but I pretended that we had 40. But let's just assume we did. We spent 6 of it on Sofal. Is that how you pronounce his name? Sofal.
Well, don't ask me how to pronounce people's names.
I
get the most stick. Yeah. Everyone says it's Pablo. It's Pablo. And do you know what? I called Jose Mourinho, and then someone said in the chat it's Jose. I can't get anything right. I don't get me wrong. I don't think I'm right. I'm sure everyone that's correcting me is right, but I'm getting everything wrong. So don't ask me how to pronounce souffle. I haven't got an idea.
I called him Kufal, and half the comments were people telling me how to pronounce it, and they were all saying different things. So.
They do. I have this constantly, and I give them a thumbs up and thank you for the advice. And I know it's Pablo, but I can't say it. So I go with the fornicator because the fornicator is better. Although I was chatting to Canning Town Len last night, and we were laughing because there are some people who don't actually understand what fornication means. It was quite evident in the comments. We were having a laugh about it, really. Yeah. You probably wouldn't be saying it if you knew what it meant.
I think it's so foul. So we spent 6 million on that. We've got over 30 million left. You could get Smalling for around 15 million. I think it would do for 2 or 3 years. It's not a wise spend of funds, but I think I don't want to say desperate, but I think we're not far away from desperate, actually. Sullivan should be feeling a bit of pressure to back his manager, essentially, because if we start to struggle, if he decides to gamble Sullivan and thinks, we'll be all right, we'll readdress this in January, we'll have to, like we did last year, I think you'll find him, he's already under pressure, David Sullivan. The last thing you want to do is throw your man under the bus, and he's already sort of done that, and not going and getting him a decent centre-back would do that further.
To be fair, I think we've sold the bus.
Pardon?
I think we sold the bus. The team. We're just hiring the team coach at the moment, mate. There is no bus to throw
from Frankfurt, really. And we've still not paid them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a Mercedes.
We've got one last super chat before we disappear. It's from James Gunn. He says, can you pronounce Djama Groneveld from Bournemouth? There you go. Unfortunately, I'm not too bad with English teams.
Oh, Gio's
Groneveld. I know the Bournemouth players, unfortunately, for James Gunn there. He needs to go get a better one than that one. Someone I've not heard of. That's what you get for picking a former Premier League club. You should really have went for like a Coventry player's name.
I'll have some Greek ones next time. Thanks, James. I like a bit of Doppelus.
Just with there's breaking news coming through in Sky Sports, it's sort of half related to West Ham. We'll just put this out right now. That is Spurs are in talks to sign centre back Joe Rodon from Swansea City for 18 million. So well, that's that then. On to Craig Dawson. And James Gunn is not happy that I was able to pronounce that guy's name. It's unlucky, James. Yeah, thanks for the £2. Didn't really work. Come back with come back next week. Gonzo.
And on the Tottenham one, it's got massive legs. His agent is Jonathan Barnett, who is also Gareth Bale's agent, and they cleaned out Foyth on loan for a season just yesterday as well.
Do you know who Craig? I assume you know this, but you know who Craig Dawson's agent is?
No, I don't know that.
You've got one guess.
Oh, was it Salthouse? Oh, it's just a joke.
Do you know who Ben?
Honestly, the geezer needs to know he's been rumbled. Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Sam Allardyce when Sam Allardyce was in, and everyone was signed up to Mark Curtis, half our players.
Do you know who Saeed Benrahma's agent is?
Yeah, I know that.
So apparently our two targets moving forward are Will Salthouse players. So now we know, and I'm going to say this, I'll tell you something, when we signed Craig Dawson, it turns out to be utter crap, which I think a lot of people are expecting, or I'll just say he's not good enough. We know who to blame. It's not David Moyes. I'm not Moyes' biggest fan, but I will let David Moyes off for this one, because it will solely be on David Sullivan, because David Sullivan will be saying you can have Craig Dawson or nobody. That's it. What do you want? So he's clearly going to take the player. He's going to have an extra man in his squad. It turns out to be rubbish. We know why. It's because of the agent. It's just ridiculous. I mean, West Ham United Salthouse FC. Here we go.
So somebody have a look. Look, I'm all for shopping where you want. You know what I mean? I reserve the right to go and whatever, buy my fish and chips from that ship me over there and not the one over there, because anyone has got in free enterprise, anyone has got the right to buy what they want to. That being said, this is getting a little bit silly now, all right? Because my fish and chips come out of my money, right? The thing is, we all put money into that football club. We all pay for our season tickets. We all buy our Sky subscription. We all buy our shirts, and it's just not right. I don't know. Someone needs to have a little look at this. I'm not happy about it.
I find it crazy. The man Sullivan sat on TalkSport saying about how the previous regime wasted money, and we've always wasted money on transfers at West Ham, but here he is doing the exact thing that's wasted loads of money on transfers before. I just find it completely baffling. But there we go. We know why Craig Dawson's coming. Ticks a few boxes, but it's Salthouse's player, unfortunately. So I think. But anyway, me and Gonzo are going to disappear now. We will be live at 9 p.m. In 3 hours, we'll be back for a 2-hour-long show, running right through until Gonzo comes on at 11. Give us the bong. You need to rehearse that in the next.
No. Bong.
Nah, you've got.
Boing. No, boing. That's not a trampoline.
Look, you've got 5 hours. Get rehearsing. I want to see a great, big, massive bong.
Oh,
not that one. You'll get the channel banned.
You definitely will. I told you, I'm not even wearing any trousers. I never do when I do these shows.
We do not promote that on this channel, so not that kind of bong. No. You will get the channel taken down, but I want to hear a nice audio bong.
That's what we call it.
Anyway, we'll see you at 9 p.m. If you've enjoyed this video, drop a like on it, subscribe if you're around here, and we'll catch you in a bit.